Ukraine's $400 FPV drones have become silent predators, picking off some of Russia's most expensive and strategically important assets. On the front lines, they've destroyed T-9OM main battle tanks valued at $4 million each, leaving nothing but charred hulks in the mud. They've struck to S-19M TAS self-propelled howitzers, worth over $2 million, halting artillery barrages mid-battle. Deep inside Russian territory, FPV raids have set Tu-95 strategic bombers ablaze on their own airfields, aircraft that carry a price tag of $50 million or more. Supply bridges in Bryansk and other occupied regions, critical for moving troops and equipment, have been reduced to twisted rubble. In each case, the financial and operational loss far outweighs the cost of the drone that delivered the blow. These attacks don't just destroy hardware, they disrupt logistics, cripple defenses, and shake confidence, proving small drones can inflict outsized damage. Imagine a battlefield scoreboard where every strike comes with the bold numbers on the screen. On one side, drone cost, $400. On the other, target value, $4 million, $10 million, even $50 million. That visual comparison tells the whole story. A cheap, agile FPV drone dives low, guided by an operator's headset, and in seconds wipes out hardware worth thousands of times more. Tanks, artillery pieces, air defense launchers, and strategic bombers all fall victim to a weapon that costs less than a single replacement tread on a tank. This is warfare turned into a cost-efficiency contest, where the side with cheaper, more abundant tools can bleed its opponent's budget dry. Every successful hit is not just a tactical win but an economic one, forcing Russia to spend millions replacing what Ukraine can destroy for the cost of a few $100. Through the pilot's goggles, the world narrows to a single objective, a grainy, fast-moving landscape rushes beneath as the FPV drone skims treetops and fences, weaving between obstacles at high speed. In the center of the view, a Russian tank appears, its turret slowly rotating, unaware of what's coming. The crosshair locks on. The pilot's hands adjust the controls with surgical precision, guiding the drone toward a vulnerable spot. At the last second, the image fills with the target's armor plating, and then, static. Moments later, smoke billows from the wreck, flames licking at open hatches. In other clips, the target might be an artillery gun, a command post, or a bridge support beam, each approached with the same steady aim. This first-person perspective makes clear just how personal and deliberate each strike is, combining human judgment with the machine's agility to deliver maximum impact. In just a few dozen missions, Ukraine's $400 FPV drones have inflicted losses measured not in thousands, but in hundreds of millions of dollars. The math is staggering. A handful of small, modified quadcopters have erased tanks, artillery, bridges, and even strategic bombers from Russia's arsenal. Analysts estimate that in some cases, for every dollar Ukraine spends on these drones, Russia loses thousands in destroyed equipment and disrupted operations. It's not only about the price tag of the hardware lost, it's also the cost of delayed offensives, interrupted supply chains, and shaken morale. Each strike forces the enemy to commit more resources to protection, repair, and replacement, stretching budgets and straining logistics. As Ukraine scales up production into the hundreds of thousands, the potential impact multiplies. If a few dozen drones can cause this much damage, the next wave could redefine the cost and pace of modern warfare entirely. On June 1, 2025, the calm morning over Irkutsk's Belaya air base shattered. Satellite images later confirmed the damage. Russian Tu-95 and Tu-22M3 bombers, worth tens of millions each, left burning on the tarmac. The weapon, not a cruise missile, but compact FPV drones, the same type hobbyists race in parks. Ukrainian intelligence smuggled them deep inside Russia, hidden in trucks disguised as mobile homes, launching from positions just kilometers away, guided by pilots watching live video feeds. The drones skimmed low, bypassing radar and defenses. Each strike hit a vulnerable section, fuel, engines, wing routes, triggering catastrophic fires. Russian crews scrambled to save aircraft, but flames consumed them. Analysts call it one of the most cost-effective strategic raids of the war, removing high-value bombers for a fraction of their replacement cost. In modern conflict, small drones now threaten even the largest military assets far from the front. In July 2025, a key supply bridge over the Tsada River in Russia's Bryansk region became a priority target for Ukraine's drone units. The bridge carried fuel and ammunition into occupied territories, feeding Russian positions under pressure. Instead of risking artillery from miles away, an FPV drone team launched a single, modified quadcopter. Flying just meters above the water, it reached the central span undetected. A shaped charge detonated at the joint between two supports. The blast punched a hole through the deck, and seconds later, the bridge sagged and broke. Trucks carrying supplies stopped short. Repair crews faced weeks of work, Video from the operator's feed went viral, a calm, steady approach followed by instant destruction. Military analysts noted that the strike not only cost millions in repairs but also forced Russian forces to reroute supplies through longer, more vulnerable routes, changing the tempo of operations in the sector. Late March 2025, in the fields of eastern Donetsk, Ukraine's Achilles regiment prepared for a high-value kill. Their target, a T-9OM main battle tank, one of Russia's most advanced and expensive armored vehicles. From cover, the FPV drone launched, skimming over mud and hedgerows. Through the pilot's goggles, the tank appeared, moving slowly, turret scanning the horizon. The drone hugged the terrain, slipping into a blind spot at the rear. A final burst of speed, then impact on the engine deck. The video feed turned to static. Moments later, smoke billowed from the tank, flames consuming its systems. Military experts value the T-9OM at over $4 million. The modified racing drone cost a fraction of that. For Ukraine, the mission was more than a single kill. It was proof that precision, skill, and small-scale technology could neutralize even the heaviest armor in the Russian arsenal. On the same day as the Belaya raid, June 1, 2025, another Ukrainian drone team struck Alenia air base in Russia's Murmansk region. This base houses strategic bombers capable of launching cruise missiles deep into Ukraine. According to Russian Ministry of Defense statements, the attackers used FPV drones, a rare choice for such long-range missions. Intelligence reports suggest the drones were pre-positioned inside Russia and launched from covert sites nearby. Video from the strike showed small explosions near parked aircraft, followed by larger secondary blasts as fuel and munitions ignited. Satellite imagery released days later revealed scorched tarmac and damage to at least a bomber. Stance, Russian officials admitted several aircraft caught fire but offered no numbers. Analysts point to this as another example of low-cost drones bypassing billion-dollar defense systems. By hitting Alenia, Ukraine proved that even heavily guarded bases in Russia's far north are not beyond reach. In early August 2025, Ukrainian forces identified a Zupark-1 counter-battery radar near the Novo-Pavlivka axis in Russian-held Zaporizhia. This system, worth millions, is designed to detect artillery fire and direct rapid counterstrikes. Instead of risking conventional artillery duels, Ukraine deployed an FPV drone. Footage shows the drone flying low over rolling farmland, approaching the radar's distinctive dish. At the last moment, the pilot pitched upward, guiding the drone into the antenna's base. The detonation collapsed the radar's frame instantly. Without it, Russian artillery in the sector lost much of its targeting accuracy, giving Ukrainian guns greater freedom to operate. Military observers note that eliminating a single radar can shift the balance across an entire front, delaying enemy fire and reducing losses. This precise strike demonstrated how targeted drone warfare can dismantle key battlefield systems without massive bombardments or prolonged engagements.